saying is, any one of you guys that are nervous, you can do this too. Feel free to go to a competition and suck. Because two things, you're gonna learn a bunch of stuff, and I hate to say it, but that competition, those people probably need your money.
Welcome back to the Circle of Drift podcast, where we interview some of the most interesting personalities within the industry. My name is Dawson, and this is part one of Formula Drift at Road Atlanta.
As long as it's zip tied right here in this one spot, it's good.
Don't nobody touch the zip tie. Leave it alone.
The guy was like, "You sure you want to do this before competition?" I was like, "Dude, driving the road course at Atlanta, I'm here for it. I'm all about this."
Like, when do I stop FD and stop dealing with like the drama? There's a lot of drama in FD. It's stressful and I like it, but it might be too much at some point.
Oh my God, it irritates me so much when I'm out there shooting and there's this dude out there with an iPhone standing in front of everyone, getting the worst videos possible, and I'm like, you mother. And so much more of that coming up. So make sure you look below the video and hit that subscribe button. And without further ado,
let's see how you do under
the
pressure. I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey, ain't no errors, baby. It's a new era.
All right, well, just first one on for today, actually. Jeff Jones. A lot of you guys were asking for him. I'm sure you got all the tags and stuff in the video. So how's it going today? How are you doing for FD? You ready?
You know, what day is today? Freaking Thursday. We're here pretty early.
I keep thinking it's Friday.
We've already gotten our practice in. Seating brackets tonight for those that are in it, not for me tonight. So we literally have one more hour of practice and then we're chilling. But, you know, like, just got here yesterday after that long drive across the country.
Yep.
So, you know, there's 3 days of driving there, like 14 hours a day. So I haven't really even recovered from the drive across the country yet.
I believe that,
You know,
man.
like, get here, get to work, do all the things that you got to do in the car. And, of course, like, you know, the Osmo team's across the street from me, like, over here. They're like, what'd you do for the last 4 weeks? I'm like, I don't know, man.
Died.
Yeah, like
That's what I
hot
did.
pit, freaking just truck stuff, house stuff, work, concerts that I do for my other background job. Like, it's just been a busy time. So, yeah, we got here. Had a bunch to do to the car, some new suspension we wanted to try out through Part Shop Max. But, yeah, no, it's all good. Practice today went great, got 6 laps. So, feeling pretty stoked.
Yeah. You're a little better off than most people out there, it seems.
Yeah, I heard
Not to point
Prospect
any
guys got like
fingers.
1 lap.
Oh, yeah, there's a few of them out there.
Yeah.
And, especially, I hate to see it, of course, but what was his name? That one dude that petitioned to come into FD from track
how do you say his
racing?
name? Ferris?
Ferris, yeah. He wadded it up first lap.
Was that the first lap?
Apparently, from what I heard, it was the
Sorry,
first
bud.
lap. Sorry if it wasn't, but that's heartbreaking, dude.
I saw someone's like replay through someone's phone of a phone,
Yeah.
but it looked gnarly.
Oh,
I need to go back to the live stream and see. I don't know if they even have it on the live stream. If it was practice, probably
Daily
not.
Driver Media posted a full-on
Okay.
clip of it. so
That
you
guy
can
gets
see it.
everything.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he posted it immediately.
I'll have to go back and look at that. I heard it was an early wreck,
Yeah.
so I hope it didn't ruin his chassis.
I saw him drive back up, but he didn't make
Oh.
it to the line in time, apparently.
Got it. Well,
So.
it's drifting, man. It'll be brand new by tomorrow.
Yeah,
Probably
definitely.
it's already out there. Who knows?
Well, it's good you're not seeing any gremlins or anything out of your car, or especially coming
Oh,
into
you know,
this
plenty
one
of-
specifically.
Plenty of gremlins here and there.
Oh,
You
okay.
fight through them. We had, since Irwindale of last year, and we're pretty sure it's probably our wiring harness, which my buddy Brandon Pico made for us.
Okay.
And good harness, but, you know, we're on our, like, 4th year now. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, long as it's zip tied right here in this one spot, it's good. Crank sensor's happy. We're all good. So he's making me some, like, add-in to fix that and repair that, but it just didn't make it this weekend. But right now we got the zip tie in the perfect spot, so that's no problem.
Don't nobody touch the zip tie. Leave it alone.
Yeah. And then, like I said, Part Shop Max sent me some upgraded, version 2.0, 3.0 of the front control arms. We wanted to change that, so we did that yesterday. And then, you know, I don't know if the audience really watched Long Beach and saw some of my runs. There's probably not a lot on live stream that you could have watched.
Right.
But practice then was terrible for me.
How so?
Very unconfident. I had a run where I initiated, you know, so at Long Beach, you know, it's a 1, 2, 3 run up, just like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you kick the clutch in the direction towards the wall.
Yeah.
Then you transition the way you got to go. Well, I kicked the clutch this way to give it a good transition, then, you know, handbrake. As it was coming back, once it got to center, it just like just stopped, gripped up, and then like almost shot me into the wall.
What the hell?
And yeah, so
Were multiple people having somewhat
just
the same problem?
Well, I don't know if anyone else had the same problem, but this happened to me twice that weekend.
Oh.
Once in the lead and then once behind Castro, and I like fully rear end punched him. And so what I can gather is I haven't really driven the pro car since December of last year when I did the Irwindale shutdown thing.
Okay.
And so back then, I was driving on the 300 treadwear Kumo tires, the PS91s, because those would last 2 laps. And the 275/35s that we had last year, I wasn't getting a full 2 laps out of. So now Kumo took all that cool information I gave them on how to make a great tire. So now we've got a 295/40, so the sidewall is like huge, like an extra 1.5 inches taller. You know, it's the same thing that the guys are on GT and Nitto are all on. But I've been on this 300 treadwear tire for like the last, 5 rounds of FD.
Yeah.
And so my mindset going into it was more like how that tire felt, the floatness of it, the transition of it. That's what I'm hoping, assuming. I just wasn't ready for how badass this tire was.
Yeah.
So now the tire is super badass. So I just had to mentally, get back with the program of like a really good, fat, big tire on the back of the car.
As far as mentally on the 300 treadwears, how were you going into that specifically? Because you obviously know you're lacking grip compared to everyone else.
It worked out on the last 4 tracks of FD because those are all momentum-based tracks, right? So when you look at like my battle with James, the one where I infamously beat James, that's all momentum-based. Like in Washington, you flick it in and you're just full throttle the whole time. There's not really a spot where you have to like dig out. Like Atlanta is a full-on like initiation, drag race, rotate keyhole, drag race back down. St. Louis, same thing. Long Beach, it's kind of like half and half.
Yeah.
So some of the tracks, you need a lot of that drag race dig. And then last year with those, it was okay. But mentally I knew it's better to at least get, 2 good laps slow than only 1 good lap.
Fair,
so it was what it was. Like it was the best that I could do with what I had at the time.
Yeah.
And, Kumo's like hooking me up, taking care of me. So I got to do the best with what they're giving me at the time. And it was a business decision because I knew that there'd be a great tire coming, and which now we have.
Yeah. So now you're prepared.
Yeah, prepared.
You're in the game now, so we're good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear, man. Are you nervous at all for this specific event? I know this is like the biggest FD, and I know the downhill scares people, but you've been doing this a lot, so.
Yeah, no, so nervous, not at all.
Good.
I'm sitting here sweating, but, it's just a hot day.
it's not the nerves, I swear.
Yeah, I've got the dock in hand. We're chilling. It's just hot out here. It's hot Atlanta for a reason. But no, this is literally my favorite everything here. My favorite track, favorite atmosphere, favorite everything.
What makes it so special? Because everyone says that.
Yeah. So, I know James loves Long Beach. There are some dudes who love Irwindale. And Irwindale was my home track, but I didn't actually drive it as much as Jared always says. Jared's always like, Jeff's got a million laps here. I don't. Usually when you see me in Irwindale, I'm working. I'm doing a concert. I'm like hosting Hot Pit. I'm doing the event, so I'm there, but I'm not actually doing laps. This track, it takes every single skill and tool that you have as a driver to complete this track well. Whereas Irwindale is like balls to the wall, full just like mental game, don't be scared. This is like, your entry, your braking, your handbrake, do you late apex, early apex, like planning what you're going to do.
Right.
So this is, and you can't see on the live stream, but when you're actually here, you can see the downhill and then back uphill and then through the keyhole and then back downhill and then back uphill. There's so many elements to this track that it really makes it my favorite because of all that, right? I get to use every skill that I know as a driver. It's literally got to be the hardest track. We just have been doing it for a while so we can make it look easy.
Yeah.
And the track surface is like, it's not perfect, but it's consistent. Versus like Long Beach, it's very inconsistent. The track surface is the same at the top as it is, through the keyhole and everywhere. So it's pretty nice to drive through there. Even when it rains, it's consistently flowing through where it is. The only thing is it's such a long track. Sometimes it'll rain on one half the track, but not the other half. That can happen. That's the same thing as Irwindale, where like, you got a cloud that rolls through, but it's only on one part, not the other part.
Right.
That can happen here. But that's just a part of me driving, having fun here. Maybe being from Los Angeles, it's always cool for me to see green.
Yeah, I totally
Our tracks
get that.
are deserts or just concrete.
Yeah.
So this is like, and then you think about the rest of Atlanta, if you guys haven't been here, literally, we're in the pit area right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a 2-mile drive to get to where our hot pit section is with our pit carts and everything. Up through the hill, down through the hill, back through the like cold paddock area.
Everywhere's an uphill.
Yeah, and so there's fans literally walking around us right now, up a hill, down a hill, and it's
It looks miserable too. Like the hills are insane. I
they're
just
a
want
little
you
bit
to
wild,
know
but
that.
people truck through it, right?
Yeah.
And the fans here, I think, man, they're into it. They know everything about us. They're intense, you know, and they're here to party. They're telling me about like things that I had already forgotten about in my career now, which is really cool. You know, they're like, dude, I got the first shirt from you back in like 2009. I'm like, damn, I didn't even have shirts. I don't even know where I got that from. You know?
Oh my God.
So
That
it's
long
pretty
ago.
cool to talk to some of these fans and just. I think someone was saying it the other day on another podcast about how people are just tailgating here.
Yeah.
Like you don't always get that at other tracks. There's dudes in their pickups, and I'm sure they had to sneak the cooler in, but good for you. You know, they maybe got their
Throw a
dogs in
blanket
hand, some
over
whiskey and whatever else, but yeah, they're
We
here
didn't
having
see
a good time. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, no,
dude.
so atmosphere, the track, driving it, it's my favorite. Absolutely.
I could see it. Even how slow it is today with some of the people that have come up, they seem a little bit more interested in like even the small amount of stuff that I carry for merch.
And it's Thursday.
Like they know they're not like stuff about
these dudes
cars.
are already called out sick from work. or
Yeah,
something,
dude.
right?
These are the people that are about it.
Yeah.
But as far as like the driving side goes, how do you, or you probably already have. So I would say to any of these prospect guys out here, I'm sure they're shitting bricks going down that mountain or that hill.
Oh yeah, this
How do you
used to be
prep
one of
for
the
this?
scarier ones for me. Man,
What's the prep like?
it is tough, and I really got to, you got to give to these prospect guys. They're only getting 2 laps before they go into battles, right? So it's pretty bummer for them. What's going on
Sorry.
is you got to plan to go down this hill and just either not overcook it and go into the kitty litter, and then not undercook it and just totally wipe out that first inner clip.
Yeah.
So really, it's kind of one of those things where if you can just get past the initiation, if you can just be comfortable with that, I think an easy run up, a confident run up, you don't need to go full backy mode. Because if you're only going to get the 2 laps, let's make sure that you can complete the run, right? Because there's so many guys who go and shoot, initiate, blow the entry, and then now they got to turn around and drive back up, and they don't even get their thing. So get past the entry, work out the rest of the course, because once you're in drift, I feel like for most of us, once we're in drift, kind of everything just takes over and you're good, right? It's really, and actually Von Gittin gave me this advice a long time ago, and I asked him about it, some advice in chasing someone. Mm-hmm. And he's like, man, you're a good driver. You just need to know what they're going to do on entry. Just get through entry with them and let all the rest of the talent take over, and you'll be good.
That's fair.
And for the most part, it works for all of us, right?
Yeah.
Once you initiate, either it's a good car or a bad car, or you're like, hey, man, I don't know, my tire fell off after the first turn, but I was good. I kept going through it and made it all the way through the track. Like, we figure it out in drift.
Yeah. Well, you don't always get to line up, though, with the people you trust as well. So
that's a thing.
When does that judgment become like, all right, I may need to like hold off just a little bit too?
Yeah. So, I mean, you know what? It's funny. Even in the lead, that's kind of a thing. Because if you get like Chelsea and Ofa roll up on you, you're like, oh my God, this guy's going to door the heck out of me this entire lap. So I don't want to like have too many crazy mistakes. Like today, I was lucky enough to chase Daigo, Gucci, and James. So my first chase run with James, I was super loose. It was my second lap out. So he like pretty much walked on me, but he was testing some things, so it gave me enough time to catch back up. But it was pretty cool. With Gucci, I know he's a veteran. He knows how to drive, but he was also, maybe it was his first lap out, had a few issues, and I bumped him going into the last turn, which can be kind of scary. I was nervous that I may have bumped him and he may go off.
It's the only area with a
Luckily
wall.
he didn't. And then with Daigo, multi-time champion here, across the pond. Here's another badass. Should be totally good. He flies off in front of the keyhole. And so I literally pass him in the keyhole.
Oh, shit.
So there you got dudes who are badass and ready for it. So I have no reason to worry, but things happen. So you can always line up with anyone and be like, oh, this guy's kind of on the no list, but then they might crush it. Whereas someone who's a championship driver, but in prospect, hey, maybe that's a little different. All I could say is give enough space, don't pinch yourself off on entry, and then just work through the smoke line.
I get that.
Yeah. The smoke line up the hill is pretty rough.
I especially here. Well, especially when you're coming down the hill, you get through the 290s. Does that straight not just pummel you with smoke too?
Oh yeah, it does.
Because like from the live stream perspective, that looks like the worst spot.
It feels worse in the car.
Really?
Yeah. You feel like you're blinded forever, and then you pop through and you hope. So I had a run with...
How do you get through that? That is so mind-boggling to me.
Dan Burkett followed me earlier.
Okay.
And I had a perfectly good lead, but he's behind me through the smoke. He transitions too early, popping out of the smoke and just full-on dives through the grass. Off-roading, his front bumper goes flying. I'm like, sorry, dude.
Oh, no.
It happens.
Oh, I feel so bad.
Yeah,
too.
I don't think I'm giving any actual advice here, but I'm just saying.
No,
it's
yeah,
good
no,
for me,
we're
it
good.
sucks
We're
for the
spitballing.
prospect guys. I don't know.
So, do you use sim to practice for any of this?
Yeah, I do. Definitely, especially if you're new to the game and don't got a lot of laps here.
Yeah.
I think the sim is going to help you a lot, for sure.
Do you tend to use it just on a regular basis?
I personally don't use it as much as I should for two reasons. Okay. One, I don't have enough time. For two,
solid point.
I wreck too much in the sim. So like when I went to like Long Beach in the sim, you know, we talked about this when we were talking with me and Andy, right? And we were on the podcast together. Like, what was that, 2 years ago?
Forever
you know, I
ago,
got
it
into the
feels
sim and it was all good, but if I like practice for Long Beach, I just wreck way too much. So then when I go into Long Beach, I'm almost more unconfident.
Makes you more anxious and stuff. Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm just not there yet in the sim.
Yeah.
You know?
What Mike from Design Shop React told me. He's the one that helped me figure out sim setups and stuff a little bit. Just get through the suck of the sim, and it's the best thing ever.
No, it really is. And I've got VR and all that.
Oh no, I can't do that.
Oh no, no, I can only drive with the VR.
Oh no, I'm puking immediately.
And you're totally right. You need to get past all the being terrible for the. Let's just like drifting in real life. Get through sucking for the first month, year, whatever it is. Lots of laps. It takes some time. I just don't like that it's only visual and it's not enough feeling the momentum. So I'll make mistakes that I'm like, why did I make that mistake? I can't feel it in the sim, so I'm not sure if it's worth the time for me to get in there and then try to get a million laps. But definitely when it's like Utah, some of these other tracks where I don't have enough lap times on them, I'll try to purposely get some more laps of that. Because I feel like I have enough laps in Long Beach.
Do you think that
Atlanta.
once like you finally comprehend it though, like it would help tremendously with your transition timing and like, because I would say ever since I started, that is the number one thing that it's helped me the most is being able to time my transitions better.
No, it's a big help for that. It really is. I think that's maybe what I'm not saying is my lead laps is where I'll wreck the most, but it has really helped the tandem game on being aggressive and watching the other car. And that's actually one of the things too, like I mentioned earlier about just getting past the first turn and then allowing your natural instinct to take over and chase or in your lap. Usually when I first got started, I would suck on my lead laps, but then I would go to chase and somehow I was doing okay. Not great, but okay. It was my natural talent and ability taking over and less thinking. Right. And then I was doing okay. Whereas my lead laps, I'm more thinking, and that's where I would make more of the mistakes. It's definitely all getting better now, but I just don't sim enough. Like I probably would be best if you could do like, I don't know, 15 minutes a day to stay hot, you know, on it. Because like if I don't touch it for a month and then try to hop in there, then I suck. Probably like TIG welding.
It's a sim magic setup, right? I would assume.
No, I actually have an old, help me out here, Fanatec. Club Sport 2.5 or something. Yeah.
I don't know all the details like that.
Yeah, it's like what was badass before COVID.
Right.
It's like $500 for the base. Some cheap pedals. I actually have a Del Sol handbrake that's like to a Adreno board.
That's cool.
yeah, so it's just an on-off switch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here's one thing. It helped me a lot to practice right-hand drive. Because I went to New Zealand to compete with Luke Fink in January. He invited me out to New Zealand. And man, whoo, I suck so bad.
Flipped your whole world upside down.
For like hours, I sucked. Probably like 4 hours straight. I was like mentally like, I got to do this. I got to try this. You know, I would start to get the lead lap okay, but then the tandem, whoo. And then, so when I went to go to New Zealand, I was actually doing okay. I ended up qualifying like, I think 5th or something with like a 95-point run over there. So the lead runs were good. It was when I went to the chase when I was trying to fumble and
Yeah,
find.
you don't have the second nature of where everything
that's
is.
where it went bad. But yeah, no, that helped so much for that, being able to sim.
So did you
right-hand
actually
drive.
like switch everything?
Yeah.
Like the actual setup of the rig?
Yep.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And then when I came back home, I didn't unswitch it for a while, which didn't help. Oh, that was one of the things this year. Yeah. I was practicing
hop in
Long
your
Beach in right-hand drive. And I was like, you know what, guys? This isn't helping. Never mind. Yeah.
I drive right-hand drive cars in the sim myself. Like normally the BDC cars,
Okay.
I'll drive the FC the
Most of the cars in the sim is right-hand drive, I feel like.
Yeah, but like I don't have it all switched over. So hopefully that I haven't driven the car since I
you
started
know what?
sim, so I hope
I
that
think
doesn't
it's
mess
fun to
with me.
do. I think if you have the ability to switch it over, like, give it a shot. You know,
might
mind boggle
try it.
yourself. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Huh.
You know, it's just different where the handbrake is and you're shifting. Oh, I would
Yeah.
shift so slow. Because I'm like, well, I think it was more like, like the third to second kind of scenario. Like, you're meant to, like,
yeah.
okay,
yeah,
we're
you
good.
want to come to you, but it's yeah,
You know,
no,
I
I
went
get
like
that.
straight from the GSR dog box that I got in the car to, like, I don't know, stock transmission with synchros, like super slow. Yeah, because when you're used to it, you're just like slamming gears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, enough of the sim stuff. I know that helps a lot of people, but I want to talk about hot pits.
Sure.
So hot pits is growing insanely. How did you pull off the ability to give a license out to go directly to pro?
Yeah, so I'm good friends with Kevin and all the guys with, Formula D. I'm able to call them. Ryan Sage will pick up his phone to almost anybody. But I get to talk to Kevin Wells a lot. And, we got to talking about Hot Pit was always able to give away a pro spec license as a, I forget the word they use it, as a scouting program, I think. And we could recommend, like, hey, this guy's really good. I think he'll do well here. Once it got to the part where we had, I think, at one point 15 pro spec drivers and 2 or 3 pro drivers on average, I got to talking to Kevin this year, or beginning of this year, end of last year. I was like, hey man, it almost seems like it's harder to get a pro license or just a license through us. So like, could we give away a pro license? And he's like, let me think about it. We went down the math. It's like we got 5 rounds. Pro spec has 4. We have basically the same ability of badass drivers, if not more. Because, like round 1 of Hot Pit this year,
As an outsider, I would argue more.
We had Connor Shanahan come in, Jack Shanahan come in. Last year we had Odie come in. Trent, Rome, and Kyle are competing all year long. So we're going to have these constant pro championship drivers come in. So, and Kevin was like, all right, so you want to give away 1 license to whoever gets it up there? I'm like, no. They have to win the championship. So they have to beat everyone and be number 1 in championship. If they don't, then we will only give them a pro spec license.
Okay.
Right? So
that's
that
a
means
unique
you've now
twist.
beaten Rome,
Yeah.
Kyle, Trent, Odie, Connor, all these badasses to get all the points. And so, and we're right now, fully transparent. If you look at the point standings, Rome's already gotten first place twice, round 1 and round 2. So he's already sitting there at 200 points. So it's going to be pretty tough for the rest of the guys to catch up. But there's some badasses that'll do it. Jerry Johnson's in there, Josh Mason, Margaritas. These guys are hunting for it, and they're badass dudes. So we'll see what happens in the next 3 rounds. But that was the gist of it. It's going to be pretty difficult to obtain this license. So I think that's why they were okay with it. And our people are also traveling from Texas. Luke Fink was competing from, Australia. So when they were like, oh, what about the traveling aspect? I'm like, well, they're not traveling around the country to different rounds, but they're coming from Washington,
They're
Texas.
still putting in the effort and the money. Like
exactly.
It's got to happen.
So the travel's already there from them to come to us. And we're doing like 5 different rounds, at different locations. This year, 3 at Orange Show. Last year, we did 3 at Irwindale.
Yeah.
But we also do big, crazy tracks.
Oh, yeah.
Hard tandem. Our rule book is pretty close to Formula D in some aspects, and then not too far off in others, but like fire suppressant was one of the things I didn't want to have. And the reason for that was I know how many of us here won't pull our fire suppressant systems if we don't have to. So I'm like, you just need a 5-pound fire extinguisher.
So true, dude.
And I know that they'll use that. And it's easy to replace, right? You don't have to have an FIA fuel cell. It just needs to be in a safe location or stock, right?
Right.
So there's those like big ticket items that I didn't want people to have to, go out and purchase if I knew they were just trying to tiptoe and be a badass. Because you have all these local badasses with local cars, but maybe they're not trying to spend the extra $5,000 on safety. Which, hey, it's good, you should, but
Right.
it's these guys are trying to buy tires, keep their motor alive. Tough for them to go and do that.
Got plenty more to worry about, that's for sure.
Yep.
Well, again, from an outsider perspective, like it seems like Hot Pits stands out as far as a licensing series way more than any other licensing series in the country.
Yeah, I really
Why do you think, other than the caliber of driver
Mm-hmm.
and tracks and stuff like that, what's unique about Hot Pits?
Well, we didn't initially intend for it to be this crazy.
Really?
We thought we were just going to throw some fun events, do some comps, and then Drift League, that was the local sanction body, they said that they were pulling out for a while. And then Clutch Kickers pulled out, and then we're like, well, we better do a live stream so to give, people something to watch. And then once I started looking at the talent, I don't know if you know this, but Hot Pit is not open registration. I handpick every single driver and talk to them and make sure that they can commit for the entire season.
How do you vet for that? Do you have like
dudes
scouts?
I have a
essentially?
registration thing where they go through and
Okay.
they'll put in their petition or whatever you want to call it, application, and then it's honestly it's three things. First off, it's skill. We'll ask them, have you made it in the top 8 or top 4 in your local events competition? Right, that's the first thing. The second thing is, what does your program look like? Does it look like a professional program, or does it look like you're just showing up with rags? Like, legit, I wouldn't let myself compete in this my first couple of years of Pro-Am, because I was running around in an FC RX-7, camouflage paint job. Like, my Pro-Am years were terrible, and I would have told myself no. Had the skill, didn't have the professional look. So I'm telling these guys, I need your cars to look badass. I need your teams to wear team shirts, like look good, have all your crew stuff.
I love exactly what you're saying right now. This
Yeah.
proves so many points that I've
I'm
made on the podcast.
trying to make these guys professionals, like, dude, I spend so much time trying to teach them. I really want to make them all, be badass to come here and kick my ass.
Yeah.
That's the goal. I want the next group to be just absolute badasses. And then so the third thing is social media. And I don't give a damn if you got 1 million followers or 1,000 followers. If I go to your social media and I see that you were like, you posted a year ago and then you posted maybe now, or you posted getting my motor ready for the next event, and you don't tag the event or you don't put up post of you at that event. Like, there was literally this one driver and I called him. I'm like, hey man, I'm looking at your post and it says getting ready to go to the event. And I'm like, what event is that? And then I look at the next post. It's like a month later. Oh, I'm doing this and that. I'm like, what happened to the event?
Yep.
So I've told drivers, like, hey man, your car looks good. You're pretty talented, but your social medias won't help Hot Pit grow. So you are down on the totem pole in points on that. And so unless you can pick up your social media game, and again, I don't care if you only have 1,000 followers. What I care is when you go to Hot Pit, I'm looking for at least like 3 posts saying, heck yeah, dudes, I got like my family on board, got my car washed up, going to Hot Pit. It's this Saturday, right? Or it's next month. And then when you're there, heck yeah, dudes, we're here at the event. Come stop by. And then afterwards, heck yeah, dudes, the event was great. Loved everything about it. Or even, hey, this sucked and I didn't like that about it. But you're talking about said event. And so all of us as drifters that love what we do need to do this across the country for everything that we do, right? Like, we're all boys, we're all hanging out, we all want this common goal, right? So like, here I am on your podcast. When I get off of this, I'm gonna post about it. Like, heck yeah, dude, just did Circle of Drift. Like, that's rad. And not just gonna walk away from it and not talk about it. Like, we
Appreciate
all
that, by the way.
have to help each other make what we love a bigger thing.
Yeah, everything is a transaction as much as we don't want to always see it that way.
Yeah.
There's always a give and take to all of it, and
Yep.
especially when it comes to an event. That's why I said, like, I love exactly what you're saying right now, because I bitch all the time. Your car needs to look good, especially if you just want media. If you just want pictures of your car, nobody's going to take pictures or videos of a pile of shit unless you're driving 10 tenths like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
But even then, it's still like you're hard to see And then on top of this social media shit too, like
Yeah.
I mean,
We actually
could go
invent
down
media
a
as well.
fucking rabbit hole with that.
We don't allow all media to show up.
What do you mean that way?
So David Carey is the guy who's ahead of our media, and so we just make sure that, hey man, like, are you doing the same thing that I just talked about on your Instagram? You know, people are like, hey, can I come get a media thing for Hot Pit? I don't know if people just think they're getting it in for free or get some special access, but what I hate is when I see all these dudes here at Formula D, and there's like, I don't know, remember at Irwindale there'd be like 50 dudes in the burnout, not in the burnout pit, but like in the media box, and then after the event I'm like, where's all the videos and photos from these people? You know, my friends who are media as well, they'd be like, man, I almost got the shot, but there's all these dudes with their cell phones in the way. Like, why are you in there filming on a cell phone? And granted, nowadays cell phones are badass.
That is, as from a media perspective, because I do it too. I just media stuff for people, and oh my god, it irritates me so much when I'm out there shooting, and like in the middle of a track. It's like hard to get to. You gotta wait until track goes cold to even get back to the pits. And there's this dude out there with an iPhone, standing in front of everyone, getting the worst videos possible, and I'm like, you motherfucker, that is my driver, get out of my way.
Time, so it's the same thing that I do for the drivers, that I do for media, that I asked David to do.
That's very respectable.
So we tell all the media people, hey, if you want to come to Hot Pit, here's what I need you to do. And if you guys are listening to this in your media, do this for your local guys. Get photos and videos of the cars, obviously, whether you're doing video or photos. If they've got music there, a DJ, a stage, take photos of that. Get lifestyle, get kids, you know, get people working on their cars, get some Canet stuff. Because cool, you know, drifting shots are great, but you look at a few of them and you're like, all right, cool, I'm over it. Like, this didn't tell me anything about the event. Like,
nobody
what's
cares to watch
all
drifting
the background
unless
stuff,
it
and, you know,
provides
like,
value.
Let me know this event was badass and it's something I want to go to. That's what I think that, like, we all need to do as a group effort for all of us to promote the heck out of drifting. So we're not talking about, oh, this track went away because no one could afford to do it or nobody went anymore, so such and such.
Yeah.
Right? Like, help, dude, get out and help your local things. Like, all right, so Clutch Kickers just came back. They're trying their best. I heard they only had 18 drivers, you know? So, and I don't know much about this. I really don't. I talked to Curtis. He's a good friend. The guy who's helping or running it now, he called me. We talked. But there was probably another 10 dudes who could have done it, but just were either nervous to. Maybe their cars weren't ready. Maybe they wanted to buy all the badass stuff before they went. Or maybe dudes just didn't go watch. Like,
I've talked to a lot of people, and there's a lot of just holding off. People want to hold off and just wait, see how Clutch Kickers goes, which I totally understand. I think, and I hope that it works out really well.
Yeah.
But I think that's most people just skepticism.
It is. You know what? Listen, I sucked when I first got into drifting. I was mountain drifting. I was doing all the dumb things, having fun. And I went to my very first event and did not qualify for Top Drift, like 2005. At the end of the year, me, Junming, and JTP were standing on top of the box.
Hell
you know,
yeah.
like, I went from like, oh yeah, I thought I was this badass on the street, didn't qualify, went through 4 more rounds of the year, learned how to actually drift on a track versus street drifting.
Right.
You know, and this was way back in the day, so don't be mad at me now. But, you know, was able to pick up my skill and then learn how to do it. But what I'm saying is, any one of you guys that are nervous, you can do this too. Like, feel free to go to a competition and suck. Because 2 things. You're going to learn a bunch of stuff, and I hate to say it, but that competition, those people probably need your money. Not that they need to put it in their pockets, but like, if you've only got 13 dudes, 20 dudes showing up to a drift event at your local thing, it's not enough to be sustainable. So get all your homies to show up, man. That $10 at the gate for whatever it is at the track. It's just
it all
sustainability
comes back to those
for
social
everything.
media posts too.
Yeah,
making
it really
sure you're
does.
shouting out the event.
Sustainability for drifting in the long term is what I always strive for. I literally will promote all my friends' stuff, you know? When I see my buddy like, hey, I opened up a shop. I'm like, cool, share. You know? Hey, I designed this cool part. I'm going to start selling it. Cool, share.
Yep.
You know? Like, you know, Drift Cave, Matt Field. He just, you know, opened up his new shop and stuff, talking about it. Cool, sure. You know, these are the homies. You see your homie doing something. You see your homie, like, celebrating anything that's good for them. Sweet, dude. Share. Yeah. It's the simplest thing to, like, help push us all to be better people.
I want to point out that you're probably an ungodly busy person as well, and it takes no time to do that.
Exactly. Yep, for sure.
that is the golden ticket.
Yeah.
But damn, dude, that's really cool. I'm glad that you approach the sport in that manner, not just to be here to win. Like, obviously we all want to win, but you know.
Yeah, I've been doing the sport for a while, dude. I think this is my 17th year.
Is it really?
Yeah, so I've actually been drifting for over 20 years, which is insane.
Dude.
This is my 17th year in FD, and I had the first 5 years were probably a waste of time. You know, but I was learning, it sucked, it was all so much, and that's a whole other story. But you know, what I am now is just trying to give back as much as possible.
Yeah.
I had so many people, and it wasn't like, you know, I come from no money. Like me and my mom, my brothers, just like me just, you know, paying mom's rent when I was young, you know, me and her. So there's literally no dollars there. But I had plenty of great people helping me. My mentor, Rich Bartle, who taught me all the staging and stuff, would let me leave my trailer at his place, right? Or he like towed me to my first like event or whatever. He like taught me a lot of things. There's so many people that teach us, you know, things, and that's so important. And so I look back at like the guy that dynoed my car for free, or the guy that like helped me work on something for free or taught me something. And so now I'm like, all right, I'm 20 years into this. It's time for me to give back to all the young dudes. So anytime I see someone struggling, someone trying to prosper, I'm like, all right, my time to give back. Start pushing and give back while I can.
Yeah.
If not, I'm just some other asshole, I guess.
What would you say is, from experiencing all of this, going through FD and, you know, your regular grassroots street drifting, all that stuff, what advice would you give to someone that is almost chasing the same path that you are, trying to do the same things that you are? What would you say to them to encourage them?
There's a lot of words to give for encouragement for something. You know, and there's a path you can take, and it doesn't always work. But, you know, it's the cliche thing of just saying, you know, like, if I can do it, you can do it. Like, don't be nervous and don't think that you can't do it just because you're sitting on a couch listening to a podcast right now. Or, you know, it's like, or if you're just under your car working, listening to
We're
this
literally
at the shop.
two normal ass fucking dudes.
Yeah.
Just know that, please.
Yeah. I worked my ass off for years, and this was grit that got me here. It wasn't early off skill. You know, I was talented enough to show up and do work. It wasn't business, it wasn't training, it wasn't schooling, it wasn't money. It was grit. When I watched Formula D first happen in D1, I just knew I wanted to be here. When I first talked to Ryan Sage, I think I told him I was going to do this for life. I don't know if he remembers that, but I think I told Ryan, I'm like, dude, I had been wanting to be in Formula D for so long. And at the time, it was like 3 years. Because I think I had only known about Formula D for No, I knew about it for 5 years. I'm sorry. I knew about it for 5 years, but I had really only been 100% trying for 3. And the reason I say that, and I just have to preface this that I'm old, because that was back in freaking 2003, 2004, D1 at Irwindale.
Okay, yeah.
And then Formula D starting their thing here in Atlanta. And back then, we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have, we were on Street Fighter.
Baby. Oh, yeah.
Oh, magazines, all that stuff. So I'm literally seeing Formula D through magazines. Or when I would go to my buddy's house when he had Street Fighter and you could watch it.
Real quick, how does that era feel? Like, what is the nostalgia of that compared to nowadays? Like, do you ever, just miss it?
I put up a post maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. No, sorry, 2 years ago when I moved to this new house that I'm in. I had all my old magazines. And I was like, should I throw these away? I'm in half of them. Or there's like badass dudes that were in, like Vaughn Gittin with his Mustang sitting like this, all badass in front of his car. And I'm a big fan of Vaughn and Chris Forsberg and like all these dudes because they were before I was. And I'm just like, do I throw these away? I didn't. They're still up in a shelf.
Thank God, I can breathe.
They're so, I forget what the word is, but it's a night and day difference, and we just take throwaway photos nowadays. And back then it was so important, each photo and each thing that you did. So we take today's world for granted.
Absolutely. I would totally agree with that. And we're part of the problem.
Yeah.
Which, as much as that sucks, we just have to.
Well, look at this podcast right now. 15 years ago, this would have been a news studio. This would have been freaking Channel 5, Channel 11 news right here to have what's happening.
Now it's just a normal thing.
Yeah.
Anybody can go buy these microphones.
Yeah.
It's crazy how accessible hobbies, careers, money, all of this stuff is.
The learning is there. Before, you know what? Kind of making fun of people sometimes. I'll call them a magazine mechanic. You know, if someone's like,
I love that, actually.
They've never really worked on a car, but they know everything about working on a car. It's like, oh, have you ever actually done this? Like, oh, no, but I read about it in, you know, Super Street and D-Sport and blah, blah, blah. Now you've got YouTube mechanics, you know? And I'll do the same thing, but I'll actually have to do the work. But anything I do before I do it, I'm like, all right, fuel pump on this truck, you know? Air filter on this. Like, because then I already know what tools to grab, how long it's going to take.
True.
What tricks they've already learned, you know? And so you can learn how to do a podcast like this, drifting things, talk to us so much easier through what's now. So we didn't have that before. Back in 2004 when Formula D started, it was so hard to get knowledge, information about Ackerman, bump steer, toe in, air pressures. that was all mystery back then. And dudes were figuring it out. Now dudes have already figured it out, and it's already out there. Easy information, easy access. So it's really all up to the people to have the grit to want to do it. You know, the tenacity and just to push forward. You know, it's, passion overcomes a lot of things. You know, when people ask me, what's the first car I should pick to get into this? You know, is a Beamer the best chassis? Is a Z the best chassis? I always tell them, no, don't pick whatever car is the best chassis. Pick the car that you want to work on and you're not mad at when you're under it. Because if you're going to be throwing wrenches and whatever, you want to be happy about this car. Like, because if not, you want to have the passion to work on it. You're going to be like, screw this, I'm quitting.
Yeah, you spend all the money and time building it. Why not just get over it, fix it, and go have fun? I totally get that. Well, what would your best setup be for a drift car then, for someone to start out? Or
all right,
since you don't give that advice, I'm gonna make you.
No, I mean, there's obviously like a 350Z is very cheap and easy to get into, and so is like an E36. I think those two cars are on par. I would not recommend an S13, 14, or 15 at all. The drift tax is too crazy.
Okay.
You're overpaying for something that isn't as good. Unless you can find one that's already pre-built and you're getting a smoking deal on it, they're a great chassis. But if you're going to go buy grandma's old car for $2,000 or $5,000 and now have to replace everything on it to get it close to what a stock Z or a stock E36 kind of is, like the cars already have a bigger motor. They already get a little bit more angle. They've already just, you know, modern design, so it's already better. And of course, if you can afford a 370, you've got more horsepower. You know, suspension is about the same on that chassis. E46, kind of the same scenario. Corvette, obviously, if you could spend even some more bucks, then now you got a cool car that even chicks like, you know, not just your homies. So those are probably the go-tos in this era right now, and we'll see what it is later on. Of course, Mustangs, Vaughn's done a good job of figuring that out and showing everyone that car can work. And then so one chassis that I'm going to try to mess with that nobody else is really, there's some guys out there. I do have a 2020 Camaro. I am going to try to build it. I keep saying this, but that is the car that I'm procrastinating on. It may or may not be a Formula D car. The current plan is just to have a fun, big body chassis. I say big body because when you watch a Z versus a Mustang, my car looks so tiny.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to, like, all right, so my battle with James at Irwindale last year, we went one more time. And then the second one more time, I'm like, all right, I got to get to his door, get on the wall with him, everything. Bro, I think my front end was at his door and we were both into the wall. And, like, I got too far back into his smoke because I'm trying to match, like, wall to wall.
Right.
His car's so long. I should have just drove up forward and not got lost in the smoke, bro. But I got lost in the sauce in the back and full on just like looped it.
So terrifying.
Yeah, no, so that was no good. So that's the difference what I'm saying about a big body car. Lots of hangover. And we were just talking about this in the pits, my buddies. When you see a Mustang go 45 to 90, either one, it looks like more angle than all these other chassis that look like eggs. A 350Z, 370Z, FRS, Supra, they don't look like they're pushing big angle because they're round. So you don't see the square edges, you know, big angle.
Yeah.
So when you look at this...
Do you think it's just because a lot of, like, especially like S550, more SA95s and stuff, they don't have good geometry. So do you think it's just like a lot of pushing the fronts that makes it look like a lot of angle?
No, I literally think it's like if you took an egg and put it at 45 degrees and you took a Domino's, thing, put it at 45 degrees and took a photo of them.
That's fair.
The visualization up against the wall, you're not going to be able to tell, that the egg has the same angle as that. And so if you look at like Papadakis' cars, both of them are pretty squared up on the back with the body kit design. So they did a good job of like working with the back of the body kit to try to square them out. Because it literally will give you that effect.
God.
Yeah.
Is that like, do a lot of teams here use visual deception?
I think only the smart teams, I haven't. I need to. I know Chris Forsberg did it a long time ago. I think the person who started a lot of that was Reese Millen.
Really?
Yeah. And, FD tried to ban what they could and stop what they could. But he was the first one to take this like big old stupid like air fins coming off the back of the car to just like make it look square and give him something to smack off the back of the car for everyone to go, oh God, look how close he is. And he smacked that thing off. He's crushing it. When literally he's not even that close to the wall. So like if you see me up against the wall, or usually like I said, any of those cars, the FRSs, the Supra,
the 86s have no
if
rear
we're up
end.
in the wall, dude, our tire's in the wall. We're getting grip from the ground and the wall. The Mustangs and some of the E36s and 46s, all the square body cars, not only do they have more room to get up against the wall because they've got all their crush area, so they've got both things. They're squared up against the wall, so it looks like they're already at more angle. And then if they want to put it deeper, they can, because they got that whole crumple zone. So, I don't know. JTP brought this up a long time ago, and I like him for saying it because he is a badass, and he was driving a Mustang, or still is driving a Mustang. He had said, he's like, I think it should, and he said this in the FD meeting, he said, I think it should be more points for you to be close to the wall, but not touching. But if you're into the wall, it should be deducted points. Because he was talking about probably RTR and the boys crumple zoning it, and he's right. Like, if he knew where exactly where the back of his car was, and he's putting it within, an inch, versus the other boys just crumpling
a foot
in.
and a half, like, give ratio, dude. That's a lot.
That's a lot, right? You've now crumpled your car. You're past the line. So, I think that is more points rewarded.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you don't agree with it when it's happening because you're just like, oh my God, that was
you're all
cool.
all caught up in the moment.
Yeah, you're all, dude. It's so easy to get caught in the moment. It just looks so badass, right? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Anyone will say, oh yeah, proximity, is great. If you're like this, it's fine. But if you're back further, we want to have the same angle, blah, blah, blah. That's, everyone judging will say all same things equal. No. Proximity always wins.
Yeah.
Because you're just mind blown by what's happening and you're forgiving the mistakes when you're up close.
Well, let me ask you this then. So, not from a judging perspective, but from a driving perspective, what do you choose to compensate in the chase in order to get the correct score that you're looking for, or get...
Yeah.
however I'm trying to word that. You know what I mean?
Well, you're going to have to sacrifice angle to have your proximity. But you definitely want to try to not have a bunch of wavering. So if you're at like full angle with the other driver, you're going to have probably more wavering than if you were at like lesser angle and just left foot braking with them. It's easier to keep the car consistent through there and make less mistakes. I really wish I had a good answer for exactly what you're saying. What I'm looking for
is that usually what judges are looking for? Like that type of stuff?
I think nowadays, based off of Formula D and what everyone's been looking at for the last probably 3 to 5 years, has been lead runs. Lead runs win racing.
It seems to be coming to.
Yeah, if you do a good lead, you're letting the guy in the back make all his mistakes. Now, if you do a poor lead and the guy does the equal mistakes in the back, and even if you knew that guy wasn't going to be able to get on that guy's door, he makes the same mistakes, the judges are going to go, well, he didn't provide him the ability to have a smooth run. You could be like, there's no way, dude, that guy would have sucked anyways. But now you didn't give him the ability to get in and be smooth. So they'll give the win to the other guy because, the ability wasn't there.
Right.
So that's what our drivers' meetings are all about. That's why we have that touch and go now here. They've literally told us, run a midline everywhere or out wide where you need to be in the markers, in the zones, so that you're giving the other guy the ability to be on your door, which I think makes for a great chase and all that's good. So that's fine and dandy.
We were just talking about that, or I was talking about that with Reese last night, and I think we'll get Reese over here to go more in depth with all that, but that I think for this track, that'll help distinguish so many more calls. Because I feel like this track, out of majority of them, you can correct me if I'm wrong, has the most complaints when it comes to judging. If I'm wrong, tell me. But as an outsider, just watching them comments come in on the live stream, it's insane.
Well, this track also has, like when you look at Orlando, you got 2 turns and we're all getting 90s. It's almost very numb on what's happening. You literally only have a transition and a couple of possibilities of what could happen and go wrong. Here, you've got multiple transitions, multiple zones. You got so much more that can go wrong, so many more areas that can go wrong. Like I DB'd here last year behind Matt Field and wasn't allowed to change my tire and move on. Well, I DB'd on the rumble strip. So we argued, like, isn't that part of like a wall? Like you said, if we hit a wall, we can change our tire. That's a rumble strip. In the past, we've been able to change our tire. We didn't, you know, the rule was, you know, if you DB'd, you know, due to the course, something like that. So, you know, my crew argued, like, hey, this is part of the course that DB'd us. They've fixed the rules and they now say it per track, but this is one of those scenarios where there's just a random thing that can come up and you can go, hey, is this DB'd legit because of here or not? Right? And there's always the keyhole where it's like, did this driver not get on throttle early enough, or did he pinch the guy off behind him? Or did the guy behind him just ram into the dude in front of him in the keyhole trying to come out of there? That's always a scenario. There's plenty that can happen. Like you've got the entry that can go wrong, the keyhole that can go wrong, right? And then the exit that can go wrong, that are all debatable on the scenario. Like Rome got hit 3 times last year by 3 different people. You know, like was he sandbagging on the entry, or was he just getting slammed ass by everyone behind him?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, a lot of things can happen here. But that's why, again, why I like this course. Very dynamic.
Is there anything from your perspective that you think the rules and stuff could incorporate to help keep those in line? Those different, because drifting's so new. Yeah. Still, that we're still gonna have so many random occasions.
I guess all I can really say is probably the rules that I've implemented into Hot Pit. So basically, I'll look at Formula D rules and I'll go, okay, I feel like this is what Ryan Sage says he wants to do, but he can't because he's got all of us fighting against them. So with Hot Pit, I'll actually go, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is how we're running it. So we don't have hard zeros in Hot Pit. We have incompletes, right? If you go 4 tires off, you know, or what we decide, if it's 3 tires off, we'll call it an incomplete. But we don't have necessarily a hard zero. And what that allows us to do is give the judges the ability to pick the lesser of 2 evils and not be stuck in a box. Whereas in FD, they're like, all right, 3 tires off, 3 tires off, you're both done. Or like, this guy straightened up his front wheels, this guy spun out. And I'm always like, how is a spin out or a flip over equivalent to wheels going straight for a second, right? I just don't think the 2 are equal. If you straightened up for 2 seconds and this guy's on his roof, they're not equal. But, you know, we have this rule of 1 formula drift before our tires have to be back to angle. And yeah, it's a big deduction, but I don't think it should be, you know, equivalent. There's a Trent Beach should be all loud.
Motherfucker.
Whoa. So you see what I'm saying? That's a rule that I made for Hot Pit that just allows our judges to move quicker and not have to be stuck in a box. Yeah. And I feel like we could totally do that here. But then you always get the fans who are like, but he's straightened. It should be a 0. This guy should win. That sucked.
Do you think you should cater to those fans or just tell them this is how it is and it's going to stay that way?
The problem, I think, is that FD has always tried to cater to fans and try to teach them. I think we just need to, like, figure out rules that we want to stick to. And I would not cater to those fans. I would let them know, hey, this run sucked more than this run. It doesn't matter that he straightened out at this point. You know, and had to reinitiate, because you just get, again, like, painted into a box. And yeah, it's a super heavy deduction, but you always got to let the second run go, because sometimes we'll get stuck in a run here and they'll watch it, like, I don't know, for a minute or 2. We're like, dude, just let the second run go, because this guy might fly off the track, and then that whole first thing didn't even matter.
That's what when it comes down to the whole lead focus thing, I think that helps a lot with that, because then a lot of the times the second run does just get scratched now.
Yeah.
And they just lead for lead. What happened there? Who's better at the lead position?
Yeah. So. You know, and sometimes 2 dudes will incomplete in their leads. And in FD, that's usually a 1 more time. Well, if one dude spun out on entry and the other guy spun out on the track exit, I say the other dude made it further through the course.
Hey, there you
Just
go. Yeah.
I guess I'm just impatient, and I'm like, dude, just move the show on.
But that's needed though, because
Yeah, I think
especially
it
in
is.
today's society with TikTok and all this fucking bullshit, like our attention spans are diluted completely. So the fact that you're keeping it rapid, that I think is the biggest mistake FD has had over the years. That's hard to be able to, choke up and really work out with this massive of a scale.
I mean, I don't know if you call it a mistake. I think it's just the box that we as drivers have put them into, because
so it's your fault.
It is. It is. Ryan's always asked us, do you guys want stricter rules or less rules and more gray area? And we're always half and half, and he's stuck, trying to please all the drivers.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I'm usually good with like whatever the rules are, because we all have to deal with them. It's like, hey, we all know what the rule is at the beginning of the day. This is the mud pit we're playing in, whatever it is. It's like, cool.
Truthfully, no sense in arguing it anyways. It's not going to get either one of us anywhere.
Because someone will always want to argue it in their favor.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, bro, we're all in the same. We all only get to use one tire.
Yeah, there you go.
It is what it is,
Hell yeah, man. Well, you got any more announcements or anything for this weekend, or anything coming up in the season that you want to let the people know about?
Let's see. This year we're looking to have a great year with Kula tires. They're back with us, and we have that big 295 tire now, so that's great. The compound's awesome. All of my sponsors are back on board, having a good time. Hot Pit Auto Fest, we just actually announced our final round, which is super cool. It's going to be in Las Vegas, November 1st, SEMA load-in weekend. So everyone that's going to SEMA now has a reason to show up a few days early and go to Hot Pit Auto Fest. And man, we are going to have some crazy guest drivers show up for that one.
You got any names yet?
I can't tell you.
No.
Those are going to be some big guest drivers, mostly all overseas.
Really?
Yeah, the people want to see. And these are going to be some badass dudes.
Are they shipping cars and stuff?
We're looking at shipping 2 cars, but there's logistics. There's a lot involved in that, whether it works for us, works for them. But that's what makes it smart about SEMA, because then they can roll their car right into SEMA afterwards.
Yeah.
So it just all makes sense.
That's so perfect.
I was talking with Matt and Odie. They both want to come do some rounds again of Hot Pit. So all these dudes want to roll up and have some fun. So yeah, dude, I'm just keeping the boat rolling.
Hell yeah.
Having some fun with it, dude. I got Big Drift Energy. My wife's making all the merch. We got a bunch of new merchandise over there. Dude, that supports half the freaking career over there. The people, thank you fans that buy the merchandise and want to wear my face on your shirt. That's absolutely amazing. And
most of this stuff doesn't happen without you guys.
Yeah, no, it's so good. And don't feel embarrassed to ask me for an autograph, because that's literally why we're here.
Do you still feel weird when people ask you? Is it, or have you gotten used to it?
No, I'm.
Sorry, that was a random one, but
no, it's It can always be kind of weird. When I'm here, it makes sense. When people recognize me out in the regular world, that's where I'm like, oh crap, okay, cool.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's definitely it feels great.
Yeah.
It's an awesome thing. People are like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's like, no, dude, you're making my day right now.
Cool.
So,
that's awesome, man. Well, I'm excited for you, and I hope you do very great this weekend. I think you got it.
Feeling good.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I know I've taken way too much of your time, so I'm going to let you get back to it, man. I really appreciate you.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yo, dude, when's your first event?
What? I think it's in 2 weeks, something like that.
But dude, have you even ordered tires yet? Oh my god, you're right. Dude, thanks for that reminder. I gotta do that.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Have you tried the Zeknovas yet? I've been tossing around the idea of doing that, but I think realistically I'm just gonna buy some cheap Walmart tires like I usually do.
No, okay. No, we're not doing that. You've had plenty of seat time by now. You need proper tires.
But what do you mean proper tires?
Well, what I mean by proper tires is better grip, more consistency, longer life, and as weird as it sounds, even smells better.
But bro, they're so much more expensive.
No. Just use the Circle of Drift code. It's 20% off.
Yo, wait, really? But what do I do for the next event?
Well, then just use it again. You can literally use it all season if you want.
Well, shit, you ain't gonna tell me twice. I'm gonna do that.
Same goes for you, too. If you're looking to get your tires before the first event, maybe it's coming up quick, drop down below to the link to Zeknova Tires and use the code Circle of Drift to get 20% off. All right. Well, not a familiar face this time. We got a new face to the pod, but we're here with Dan. How are we doing today?
I'm good.
Good?
We've been trying to do this for a little bit here, so it's exciting to make this happen.
It's been a while, man.
Yeah.
Down in Florida and stuff, which I have a plan to come out there soon
It'll
for
happen.
FD.
We could do another one when you're out there or
I'll
whatever.
have to come out to the shop.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect. Well, how are we doing this weekend? Atlanta?
I've had
No.
better days.
Yeah?
I love Atlanta. It's one of my favorite rounds. The vibe here, the facilities, beautiful. You know,
Right.
it's kind of like the Coliseum that you drift into the keyhole and go out, and all the fans are around. So, one of my favorite stops all year. I was in seating last night and like charged really hard on my chase. Did not my best lead lap, but I did a good lead lap. Comparably, my opinion is it was better, but they say otherwise, and they all picked against me, and I'm like, oh my god.
So what were the judges saying? Like, what was their call based off of?
We've talked a lot since that happened, but initially they said Dan choked off. So they've changed the layout, as you guys know or don't know. They changed the layout a little bit here. We have an outer zone 1 now, which it used to just kind of be like the initiation, and you would cross inner clip 1. Now we have to like hit a certain spot for outer zone 1, and they've painted a box, and then you go to inner clip 1, but they kind of like moved the cone the cone's still where it was, but they've made a box, and they're hoping to push you out. Let's call it like 4 feet into the track or something like that, so that you leave a pocket for the chase to go in. So,
Do you agree with that layout and how it's set up now?
I would say we only have so much space here. It's a very high-speed entry, so everyone's like booking it down the hill, trying to, let's say hit 100 miles an hour, close to 100. Then you're like, you flick it or do a handbrake pump and like get into the spot, and you're on the foot brake as well though, because you got to scrub like roughly 50% of your speed, I'd say.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
not kidding. And then you're back on the throttle, and you light off, and you launch up that hill to outer zone 2. And it is a difficult track to chase, and this is why they made the change. But I don't feel like we have the space. This is my opinion. People could think differently. To do what they want to do, or they need to shorten the run up and say, we're looking for 10, 12 miles an hour slower overall, and we want like a graceful swinging, like I'm just going to say like a Forrest Wang style drifting, because you can say he goes
He's flowy,
he's flowy, lock to lock. And sometimes people would say he drives slower, but he can do it both. He can kind of do it all. So don't think of that negatively.
Right, yeah.
We love Forrest. He's an amazing driver.
We
But,
love
like,
Forrest.
He's flowy though, and like this track is not flowy. It's like kind of like notchy almost. Like you come shooting down the hill right across that inner clip at an angle because you're 90 degree and you're trying to make a track that's not made for drifting. The keyhole is kind of like a driftable area, and then you shoot across again, and so they're trying to prevent that. I get it, but they need to say slow it down by like loosen your car up, or we're gonna knock you out. They didn't say it that way in the driver's meeting.
Right.
And then, like, they did say we want you to leave the door open. So, anyways, I chased. The driver did not leave the door open for me. Mata did
Where you
not.
choke you up on the
He
inners?
choked me up just like as if we were, last year's layout. He did the exact thing that they said I did, and I'm like, guys, like, I was on him the whole. And they just, you made more mistakes, you're out. I'm like, so when I led, he was like a bus length behind me. He had a spot where he got close, and then a bus length behind me again. It's like, I'm sure he didn't want to do that, but like maybe my car's fat, whatever. And I was just like, I want to.
So it was all essentially from a judgment perspective is what made the whole situation is bad. Like the layout itself, because like to me, the way I see the layout is that's what they're trying to get a hold of, is not the chase driver not being so choked up. But if it's on both ends,
how are you gonna have like a good tandem if the chase driver's choked in?
Right.
It's 2 to 3 areas at this. It's a hard track to chase at, and it's like you drive back through your smoke, that makes it harder, and it's high speed, low speed, high speed. So they're trying to fix that. I get why they want to fix it. Will it work? Not as good as they think it will, because people aren't going to be like, let's drive slow. We like put all our effort into making our car as fast as we could, like still drift but be fast.
So did you have to go back and make a whole bunch of suspension changes and stuff like that? At all?
No, I lost that battle because of the judgment call, and the way the like breakdown is, I don't get to drive tomorrow. So I'm just like,
oh, that's right. Oh,
I'm
damn,
just
that
so
sucks.
pissed.
Yeah.
Like this never has
Yeah,
happened.
that really.
10 years and now I get this.
And this is arguably your favorite track to drive
This
at?
or Washington's my favorite track.
That's fair.
But I love this track. It's a really
Man,
fun
that's such a
technical
bummer.
track. Yeah. You go fast.
Do you okay? So then, do you like the way the seating is done now,
Nah.
or do you prefer the old way of qualifying?
Because the seating is drawn from a hat, and like, let's say they draw from the hat, and I'm now deemed, it's out of 16, but we don't have a full 16, so I was 12th, and then you're 5th, but it's like, or 4th or whatever, you could be first, like, and then you get a bye run, but like, that's not, I guess it's like a lottery, luck of the draw. I don't like gamble or play any lotto, so I don't really agree with it. Like, I'd rather just prove myself on my qualifying.
How do you think they should do that?
I don't know.
Should they base it off of the previous round?
Sure, but I think we should just, if they had to do seating, you're saying how should they do it?
Yeah. Sorry. Should have clarified that.
Maybe. I never thought into that. I just don't like seating. Because, like, what professional sport has someone, like, kind of pick you out
I see what you mean.
And, like, there's qualifying and, like, everything else that's professional, or there's just, like, a game where the team goes against, I don't know.
Yeah.
Any single thing in any motorsport, there's no motorsport that they pick for you. And I get that drifting's very unique, but it's frustrating. Because it's like, oh my God.
Especially when you've been doing it as long as you have. Like, I totally get that. But, I mean, other than the judging and the rules and stuff like that, has the car been performing okay? No major issues?
Yeah. I try and do, like, upgrades to the car each year to make it, 5 to 15% better than it had been when I have the budget or the knowledge or whatever. And we made changes this year that it's, like, more powerful. They finally approved the rear wise fab after me asking for 10 years straight, so that's cool. The car is more consistent.
The one thing, sorry to cut you off, but on the rear suspensions, the one thing that always boggles my mind is the subframe rules.
Yeah.
Having to run a stock subframe with this much power, like a aluminum subframe is not that strong. Like,
true. There's like,
what's the point of not being able to reinforce it?
Well, they will. So, like, if you put a Winters in your subframe,
well, yeah,
you have to be able to fabricate it to hold it, and so it's like free reign at that point. If you wanted to add some like structural random, you just can't stitch weld everywhere. That's part of the rule.
But
you could like add some bracing and say that was for the Winters to hold it in, and he can't argue it. So that's one way. The other way would be if you do a trackside repair, like you got a crack in your subframe at the track, but you need to get back out on the track, you can weld all these cracks, and you can just sit there and weld all this extra stuff, and then be like, that was a trackside repair. And you could, that's kind of like a gray loophole.
Get away with it the next round?
I don't have that issue with a Supra rear subframe, but like a Z, like you're saying the 350s, 370Z has a steel, I think, right? 350Z.
I have no idea, honestly.
And then like an S chassis has a pretty weak subframe. BMWs have really small rear subframe. So I get it, but I think he's trying to prevent tube chassis, and he's set in his ways, and it's gonna stick that way usually,
That's crazy. Because like from an aftermarket subframe standpoint, totally understandable. I get it. That can be absurd sometimes.
Because of the pickup points being anywhere you want.
Exactly,
so,
yeah.
Like what we were wanting him to do, like we being like several of the drivers, to allow like a tubular rear subframe that retained the same pickup points, so that you like, because like how hard is it to find an S chassis rear subframe? Pretty hard at this point.
Yeah.
And if you need like a spare, and your original one gets bent, and then you need another spare, and it's like, like, come on, Kevin, like, change the rule, but he doesn't want to change it. Eventually it will come to it if it, like, things run out.
Right.
That is literally how I got the rear wide slab approved. He's like, how hard is it to get rear stuff for a Supra? I'm like,
That's
very
funny.
expensive and hard. And he's like, okay, well, explain how much it would cost for you to replace all the arms that you need to use to do what you're doing, and then explain how much rear wide slab costs, and I'll probably be able to approve it. And it was like double the price. And he's like, okay, fine, financial standpoint, I'll let you. So lots of the rules are financially based, I guess, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Because he wants it to not be just like unobtainable to a new team.
Yeah, it's already so.
It's-
What the
it-
fuck? There's a Koenigsegg here?
Oh my God, that's
Jesus
beautiful.
Christ. Sorry, I wish I had a camera.
That is amazing.
My God, yeah, sorry.
I was also looking at it come at us. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, that just threw me off.
Rightfully so, though.
Right.
Yeah.
What were we even talking about?
Probably subframes or
Oh,
prices of rear subframes.
yeah. How you got the rear grip kit approved. That's crazy that it's all financial. Well, not all financial
It's not
based,
all, but it's like some of
FD's pretty expensive already.
All right,
So
that's
like
what-
the fact that
it
they
is
would use that as a major
unobtainable
thing.
already, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It is.
Damn.
The fact that I got into it so long ago, and I thought it was almost not possible when I got into it, and then I just watch now, and I'm like, oh my God, these poor guys in Pro-Am have like, they have to have a Winters or a Bulldog, a quick change, you know? They have to have a dog box. They don't have to, but like, if you want to like make it out of Pro-Am to Pro Spec, you better build a Pro Spec car to compete in Pro-Am.
Yeah.
And then it does that all over again when you go from Pro Spec to Pro. It's like, oh my God.
How do you think you would do it if you had to start at the Pro-Am level in today's era?
I don't know.
Incredibly
for sure.
flip-flopped compared to what you did to get into the sport.
I didn't have the money to do it when I did it, and I was like, the only way I can do this is if I learn how to build the car and I buy the tools to build the car and then use those same tools to like charge someone else so that I didn't really end up paying for the tool and I build their car, and it's the only way I did
Just
it.
a ripple effect.
And it happened somehow with just a lot of long hours and hard work, and then that's how the shop even started, because I wanted to do pro drifting, and that's how my business started. But I don't know, like, I might just say it's not obtainable, and I might not even try right now. It seems so much harder. In Pro-Am, I just had like an LS2 in my RX-7 and a T56.
Yeah.
And a stock welded diff and cut knuckles. They like didn't have an angle kit for
Do you
RX-7.
think that we also, on top of it being harder, yeah, maybe harder, but aren't there more resources to make it happen as well?
There's way more really cool parts that have been developed, and there's like people have more sponsorship in Pro-Am than I had in Pro 2 the first 2 years, and I'm like, what? Like what? But I mean, that's
It's
where
all
we
like
are.
you almost.
So
I
there
feel
is
like
that,
event
yeah.
hosts won't even let you out of Pro-Am without some type of put together program nowadays.
You're not wrong. Yeah, that's true.
That's so insane to me. Why do you continue to go down the competition route?
Wait, what?
Why do you continue to go down the competition route after all these years?
Oh,
you still thrive for it.
For like competing instead of like grid life only.
Right, right.
It's boring. Like that stuff's kind of boring a little. Like I like grid life. Like this track's cool, and I could get myself to. Let's say I had like a budget to get to every grid life. I feel like it's fun, but it's like doing lead laps. You might have a couple laps in there where you get to do some chases with your boys, but like to me, I think I like strive on stress, and it's just stressful. Like FD is stressful.
Dive under pressure, baby.
And like, yeah, because like I did grid life. The 1 year I didn't do FD was 23 because I lost budget right before, like 2 months before, and I tried to find a loophole for it and a
Right.
replacement, and it like just by the last like couple weeks it didn't work out. So I had to say I can't do it because I didn't want to like credit card up and go in debt or something. So I was like, no. Then I did some grid lives, and I did some Riverside drifts, and like, no, Clutch Kickers was out that year. I don't know. I did like some stuff, you know, but like, I don't know. I have
Just
more
didn't
fun
hit
with
for
the
you?
challenge, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Some people just have that competitive drive that just keeps them going.
I kind of want to do both, like, you know. I guess I have problems. Yeah.
Oh, well, at least you got the sick cars for it.
It's
That's always a fun thing to have. But now you do have the full shop and everything now. So that's got to have had some major improvements to the business side of things and everything else, right?
like moving to Florida, or what do you mean?
Well, it's getting out, like, because you had a smaller shop before this one, right? Way smaller.
It was kind of big, actually. So
Was
I had
it?
a 6,100 square foot shop that's not that small, and the rent was so ridiculous though. So I had to have like
That's what it
11
was.
customer cars, because you like jump from car to car when that customer may have the money to do like a couple weeks of work, and it was like hell to juggle all that, and then try to do FD, juggle that, and then finally, as the sponsorship finally started, building up, and we were like a little bit smarter, and during that time, I started making the parts that I make, the billet parts, and then my mind was like, okay, parts are where it's at, because I could sell a part to another country in the middle of the night when I'm asleep, so I can make money without doing anything. I just have to do it like once, and then it keeps paying you back. So for 3 years, we tracked our parts sales, and we're like, okay, we can get the hell out of California now. And we got to Florida, and yes, the shop is bigger. Do we need that big of a shop? No, but
Right.
it's cool to have.
Yeah.
Trailer lives inside now. So, and the budget for like us to live off of is like based on, sorry about the phone,
You're good.
based on like our web sales at this point. And we do have 2 customer cars that are like long-term projects that you can like chip away on when you feel like it. There's no deadline, but I'm over that. I don't want to
yeah.
work. I'll do that if it's the right customer and the right car. I just like selling parts, developing parts, then like adding more parts from like, let's say Radium or something to our website, or Turbo Smart or ACT. So, and then that's easier to manage than employees. So it's,
When you make damn good parts too, so
and the parts that we
they're
have
very
bring
usable.
yeah. So that's kind of where it evolved to. Did I know that in the beginning? Hell no. It just all happened.
that's cool though.
Yeah.
You just made it happen.
And I love living in Florida. It's like very free, and I live kind of like away from everything. It's real cool. I'm like, we're happy with the
I've
move.
considered moving down there myself, so I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Do you ever plan on venturing into any other engine platforms?
Yes. So I like I have me and my wife got a C706.
Sick.
So I like, but that's a street car. Like, and it's too clean to like. But I like that car. So what if you had like a LT turbo? Like an LT1 is like LT4 is what's in our Z06, but you did like a LTR turbo in like a Corvette maybe. I don't know, but I don't know.
Let's see it, man. I'm down.
C7 though. I don't know. It could happen, but I'm always gonna love Supras.
You ever venture to the dark side, to the RVs?
I don't think I mean,
Damn it.
I don't think I could do it. Because the TJ's so reliable and everything. Like, the
I get
RV
it.
like can't quite handle the same like abuse, I guess would be a good word, at like the same power levels.
Especially
And
in stock
the-
form.
Make the in stock form for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
It'd be
know.
cool to see though. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
We'll
build one and be
poke
like,
you
hey
to
Ryan
it."
Literal here. No. I'm just joking, Ryan.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, is there anything that you want to announce for the upcoming year? How do you plan on going in the next round, or any special events, anything like that coming up?
So, speaking of other cars, like there's this Supra that I built for a customer that wanted a replica of my drift car, and it was like a long-term build, took like 4 years or whatever, and then we finished it, and I moved away to Florida, and the car sat for since then. But he ended up moving to St. Augustine. The car's here. Oh, this customer he wanted to build it to watch me drive it, but he would never like fully convince me that he could like poke at that and say it sometimes. I'm like, I don't believe you. What do you? So then like, anyways, he did it, and then he moved to St. Augustine. He found another shop that could like maintenance it and trailer it. and I just drove it here at Grid Life right now. I just got done, and
That's cool.
And he wants to like take that. We want to find some sponsors and a couple partners for that. Maybe some of my current partners could like join in on that car and do like a second thing with the other shop. It's called Initial G. It's just a smaller shop, but they like have Supras and they work on Skylines and RX-7s, things like that. So JDM stuff, and take that Supra, and I could drive a couple fun events and maybe convince me to like those as much or more as.
Never know.
Sometimes I also think about like
when it's not your car, you can have more fun.
I know, but whatever. And I still am pretty mean to my cars. I also think about like when do I stop FD and stop dealing with like the drama. There's a lot of drama in FD.
How so?
Like, I guess you just got to be in it, and you would know what I'm talking about. It's just
like driver to driver, or like just the whole competition in itself.
All the above, like sponsorship, competitive on the track, off the track, like shit talk. I don't know. It's just like.
Is there anything that you think could easily be improved?
Oh, in FD?
Yeah.
Well, there's always think about like watching the F1 show. There's a lot of drama on that show. That's the kind of drama I'm talking about in FD. You're never gonna improve that. That's human nature. But like,
that's fair.
We could go down the path of improving FD, but let's not stop there. Hold on, let's not go there.
I'm here for it.
I was gonna say like, I would like to maybe take some of my sponsors and maybe that other car and create a second program where I got to do some of the fun events, but then some of the cash drift stuff where there's like a cash prize, and like there could be FD drivers, ex-FD drivers, and then any level. That seems like fun, because like FD is it's stressful and I like it, but it might be too much at some point. Like this weekend, I'm so irritated with that judging call. So if you're gonna ask me a question, I'm gonna say improvements on FD. We need like a different structure for judging that makes sense to you from the outside or me on the inside.
Do you ever think like a point system in that way would work? Almost like skateboarding back in the day. You had a point dedicated to a trick,
one way
and
to
like
do it, or telemetry, and that like so there's less human, like from the judge's point of view, like it can't rely so much on like a human's opinion.
I see what you mean, yeah.
Which like
so like
the
Race
point
Labs,
system
how they have the little thing that goes on top of the car at Drift Masters. They just started at Clutch Kickers and stuff.
Yeah.
That would be a good tool to have.
Think so.
Even if it's just a tool.
Even if
just
you're using that and you still use human opinion and like the point system you were talking about, so that it's less subjective and biased in some ways, but
we could go on a rabbit hole with this stuff,
and
dude.
I might not be the best person to talk about it because I've been in it so long, and like some things are gonna irritate me more than the new people watch. You know what I mean? And I don't want to like deter anyone that's like, I'm going for FD. Like, keep going for it, you know?
Yeah, it's your dream.
Yeah.
Keep dreaming. I get it. Well, I guess what's your plan for the rest of FD? What's the next round look like? What are your plans for
Orlando, and I just need to chip away at points to get as close to the podium or on the podium as I can. That's the plan every round.
Just keep it that simple and hope for the best.
Yeah. The team's figured out the car works. Like, there'll always be issues with a car, you know, and you're beating the heck out of it, or you bump other cars. But it's just focus on getting to the podium.
Absolutely. Well, cool, man. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I really appreciate you stopping by. If there's anything else you want to mention, anything crazy happening coming up, or like?
Nah, not that I'm thinking of anything.
Nah. Well, cool.
Just focus on FD this year. We'll see. Next year might be a little different. You don't know yet.
Absolutely. Well, definitely drop a comment if you want to see a full episode from Dan. Well, I should be at FD Orlando as well, so I'm going to make a whole week-long trip out of it. Go hit some long interviews, too. So.
All right. Well,
stop by.
If we do a whole episode, I'm down. That sounds like fun. Talk about some other topics. If not, until next time, I guess.
Maybe when you're not having judging call issues,
sure.
be in a little bit better, brighter mood.
For sure, yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, again, I appreciate it, dude.
Yeah,
Thanks a
thanks
lot
for
for
having
stopping
me.
by. This is awesome.
All right.
All right. Well, we've got a new face to the podcast, Mr. Lemaire. That's how you say it, right?
Yeah, Mr. Lemaire or Tilo.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, how are you doing this weekend here at Atlanta? I know it's this track's been eating some cars and a whole bunch of things with the new layout. So what are you thinking?
Well, first of all, we blew the engine in Long Beach, so now we got a fresh Texas speed engine, and it's running well. So that's
Good.
like a good start. We were able to put some lap down. So we're still fighting some little stuff with the suspension since we are adding a lot of grip to the cars to keep up the pace with the pro guys. But this track is fast, and I like fast tracks, so it's a cool one. Last year in Pro Spec, I took the win, so I came here with a little confidence, and
Yeah,
it was
man.
just great. So I did lost my battle yesterday against my Kumo Tower teammate Andy Hately, but I think I was a little bit too aggressive on the inside. So now I got my lesson, and I'm gonna be I'm gonna
Seems
do
like
better.
a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people
Now
are.
that they have that open room on the inside, people are just taking too much advantage of it.
Yeah, and I mean a racetrack is a racetrack. There's rumble strip for a reason. So as a race car driver, you always put your eyes on the rumble strip.
Right.
So it's quite like counterintuitive to not go on the rumble strip. So it's just adaptation and should be good.
Really? Yeah. Well, especially coming back into this track with some confidence, with the new inner clips and everything, is there anything you don't like about the new layout? Are you like in complaints in any way?
Well, I mean, it's I will never complain about what the judges want to see, but I gotta say we really have to broke the momentum. Let's say it like this. So instead of like just keeping the momentum on and being more fluid, always on the throttle, now we have to like kind of handbrake a little
decel,
bit,
yeah.
decel a little bit more, and just trying to put it on the box to allow the chase driver. So I understand that for the fans it's gonna be better, but I think for like being fast, like I want to go always, it's quite hard. But I mean, I'll just adapt and I'll make sure it's what the judges want to see.
That always sucks to have to pull back your driving, I would say. Especially at this level. Dude, those cars are unreal. We all jump in them and on sim and stuff. And like, in the sim, I'm sure anyone can drive the pro cars and stuff. But in person, it's a whole different animal. I mean, it's got to be incredibly tricky to keep up with that amount of speed on such a high horsepower car, right?
Yeah, it is. So the way I see it is we really need to slow the car down with the angle. If we don't use the angle of the car, it's like impossible to just left foot or e-brake.
Do the judges ever get on to you for using too much angle, though, to do that? 'Cause, then it becomes into a backy of some
well,
sense.
I feel
but,
like they want to see that because they don't really take speed
That's
into
interesting.
consideration. So if you're able to slow the car down with a lot of angle, I feel like that's what they want to see.
Good.
But if you are able to stay on the gas, because I asked some questions to them just to make sure that I'm doing what they want to see, and they said like if you're able to do it with only the angle, that's good. But it's like really hard to do it.
Yeah.
Like throwing a backy like a Chelsea Nova style, it's sometimes it's hard.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Well, where have you learned all this stuff? Where did you grow up drifting? How long have you been in this stuff? For anyone that doesn't know, I know you've made quite a name for yourself recently, but
Yeah, well, I'm from Canada, so I did all my racing back in Canada, and I started back in the days. I was 7 years old in karting, so I'm coming from the karting world.
so cool.
Yeah, it's really the school of racing, all kind of racing, drifting, rallycross, any kind of racing. It's starting with karting. I think it's great. And when I was 14 years old, I switched for endurance racing, so road racing, until I hit 16 years old, and I got my driver license. So I discovered drift, and and
All downhill from there, huh?
yeah, exactly. So I was not anymore. So I was an instructor at iCar, which is our local track.
Cool,
so I was
yeah.
teaching people to like do a Lamborghini and stuff like this, exotic cars. So at one point I wanted to start drifting, so I bought myself a 300 ZX, which is not the best, but I really like the look of the car, so I started drifting with that. And after that, I wanted to put like a suspension, roll cage, and stuff like this. And Mike Reich at Concept Motorsport, who is now my crew chief, that's how I met him. He told me like, that's not a good car. So
we got to clean this up. Real
Yeah,
quick.
exactly.
We're not doing this.
So I sold the car and I bought a 350Z, and after I bought my S13 that I started competing with, and I did like now it's my 10th year of drifting.
That's
so,
insane.
Yeah,
man.
I did we call it the MCC in Canada. It's the Canadian Championship. I did this quite a long time, and when I got my license in 2020, I decided to make the jump. Because as you know, it's all the money is in the U.S., so you gotta go across.
There goes monetization.
Yeah.
Plop, no money, bye. Anyways.
Yeah, so I started in Pro Spec, and I got Rookie of the Year first year. So it just, you know, you always want more.
It's gotta feel good, dude.
Yeah, it felt really good. Yes, sir. Yeah. So yeah, it felt really good, and I just always want to push myself. I don't want to stay at the same place.
Good.
So my goal was to win Pro Spec, and last year when I got the win for
Came
the
out
championship,
swinging,
I said,
brother.
I'll do anything what it takes to go in pro. And I didn't do it the easy way. I could have stayed with my S14 and going in pro with my S14, but as a driver who always wants to be different, I wanted to start with the C7, a platform that nobody really developed a lot, and trying to be different. So as you know, my car sounds very different.
Insane.
Very cool, yeah.
I love it,
Yeah.
by the way.
So thank you. So it's not easy, but nothing easy. So it's fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool to see. I from my perspective and my style, I love a more unique aspect of it. So that's why I threw an RB and a Z. But anyways, that's besides the fact. But from Canadian, I guess drifting in general, not just professionally, what is the difference in your perspective to here? Because it's got to be not just promotional-wise massive difference, but like the whole culture's different. So how do you take it and the differences on it?
I feel like we have a very, very great field of drivers in Canada, but sometimes we don't think as big as in the U.S. So,
What do you mean?
like, you know, when you say think big, so that's more from the U.S. I think. So, like, on my side, I always try to think big, so I wanted to go more, you know, Formula Drift, stuff like this. So I think we have a very nice field of drivers in Canada, but sometimes it looks like a big mountain to climb. So the Canadian driver probably prefer to stay more in Canada. So that's why we have a very great level of drivers. And I'm sure like if they were a little bit more down to, you know, push the limit and go in the US, we could have a lot of nice Canadian driver out here in the US. But yeah, obviously drifting in Canada is starting to get better, but it's nothing like in the US. Yeah. We really have more fans in the US, more money, more people implicated in the sport. So that's why I'm trying to make myself a name in this big field.
Absolutely. Josiah's doing a pretty good job with FDF, making Canada have a name and stuff.
Yeah.
But I would agree, it's not nowhere near as publicized and big thinking like you said.
Yeah.
So, do you ever plan on possibly venturing out even further? I assume with you got all these big plans, maybe Drift Masters in the future or anything like that.
So you mentioned Josiah. Josiah is like a really, really close friend and also partners, sponsored and everything around with my program. So in the future, I will really like to team up with him, and we already talked about this quite a few times. We did talk about Drift Masters, but after he did it, we said that maybe it's a lot going overseas and trying to have a nice program with a reliable car. So for the future, what will be the best scenario? I think it will be to team up with Josiah and come at the FD Pro together. So that would allow us to find bigger partners, bring more money to the program, and obviously Josiah and myself, we have a very nice. I think we have a similar style of driving. We want to go fast.
I agree with that.
We want to be aggressive, and when we drive together, it's always a nice show.
Did he have to engineer a lot of those parts? for that car?
Yeah, so
Just like not on the market
he
yet?
3D scanned the whole car when we started.
Ooh.
And he built like everything, the brackets, angle kit, grip kits. Obviously, most of the stuff is similar to the C6, but we still had to adapt little stuff to make it work for the C7. But even like the C7, it's using the E46 BMW steering rack, so it's a whole different thing than like a stock C7.
Yeah. Why do people say that the C7 isn't a great chassis for drifting specifically?
I think it's the main reason is because it's aluminum chassis. So you hit the wall, you crash your car, and it's hard to fix, let's say, because it's all aluminum. But on my side of view, it makes the car very light, so it can make the car very fast also. And if you have the great like engineering behind with Josiah, you can really make the part brakes where they need to brake instead of braking the chassis. So like, let's say you prefer the table or the lower control arm to brake instead of the subframe, stuff like this. So I think that's the reason. And also the C7 is known for a good lapping car. So it has a lot of forward bite and not a lot of side bite. So we are working on that to make the car go really fast sideways and a little bit less fast in the straight
line.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. Did y'all ever run into any like major hiccups when designing all those parts? Was there anything odd or was it pretty straightforward for the most part?
Well, it's a long road. It's a lot of R&D, but I think the outcome was really great. We didn't have to change the angle kit like 5 times. We did like 2 versions, and now it's working really well. No binding, no nothing. So now it's just me that has to adapt to the car and don't drive it like a S14 because it's really not the same car. It's 2 different animals. So I really have to bring my own style into this car, and it could be good.
It's a lot snappier than the.
Oh yeah, very snappy. Yeah, very snappy.
I can imagine that. God, that car is gonna be a fucking animal. Well, you just took it fucking. It was this hill, right?
Yeah.
Wait, you just showed me a video, so. That has to be insane. And the capabilities of not just you, but the car too to make. How fast was it? Like 150 or something? In miles per hour.
In
sorry.
miles per hour, I think it was minimum 150 because my gear was the smallest gear I have to be able to have a lot of wheel speed. And I was on the rev limiter the whole time. So,
Jesus Christ. What alignment specs are you running for all of this, for this car?
Well, even during the competition time, I don't like to have a lot of active toe. I prefer to put static toe on the car, just for the feeling of it. And obviously on the big layout for Grid Life, we did remove a little bit of toe.
Loosen that fucker up.
Yeah, exactly. But I still did some testing, so I still run like 10 PSI in my tires just to try to get the feel of the...
Keep it somewhat similar?
Yeah, something similar to in the competition. But yeah, I'm all about going fast, so...
Yeah, don't lie. That was a selfish decision to go do that. That wasn't a testing decision.
Yeah, I was like, the guy was like, you sure you want to do this before competition? I was like, dude, driving the road course at Atlanta, I'm here for it. I'm all about this. And it was sick. They didn't let us drift the turn 1, but if we could do it, that would have been the only turn I'm doing. Just like going as fast as possible. So that's why I was excited about the going under the bridge and going downhill in 4th gear as fast as possible. It's the way I can like feel a bit more adrenaline.
How many drivers are out there doing it, dude? Did you see everyone shutting down before it, man? Occasionally you'll hear like you or Matt Field or someone come just bombing down this hill and you're like, what the fuck was that? You gotta turn around and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool, dude. Well, what is your plan for this year, and as far as going into the next round and just finishing this round as well?
Yeah, it's a lot, but my goal, even if O'Sully and Madison, not Madison, but Mata, they went really far yesterday in the seedings. So even if they did really well, I'm still aiming for the Rookie of the Year title. That will be awesome as a first year in pro. We got big names, you know, Jack Shanahan, O'Sully, Mata. So obviously it's not going to be an easy task, but I'm all about trying to push myself. For this weekend, it's one battle at a time. I'm starting in top 32 against Sorensen, so big battle ahead. And for the rest of the season, maybe a little bit more reliable on the car. to try to have some nice battles.
Yeah. What's your plan going into this next battle? Do you have any strategies or
Um,
anything like that?
Well, I think the judges, they really want to see a nice lead. So I'm going to try to settle it down a little bit just to make sure I hit all my marks for the lead. And if I have a nice lead, the chase is just going to be a fun time.
Second nature at that point, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, I'm excited to see it, and I really hope you have some good luck out there. Get that Rookie of the Year, man.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. One last question. What are your expectations for the final round of Long Beach?
About the layout or the
Yeah.
results?
The layout,
The layout?
and the event entirely. How do you think it's going to play out?
I think it's gonna probably become the new like House of Drift, so it's kind of cool, even if it's like a urban circuit. But I'm just fingers crossed, hoping it's gonna be like big corners, because we saw the layout, but it could be a really small
looks
layout,
pretty small
and it
in
could be really
3D.
big. So I'm hoping we can get some momentum and have some really nice tandem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll fully line it with walls?
Yeah, I think
Fully
it's gonna
lined?
be a full wall. So
Exciting.
yeah, but it's the last race of the year,
Gotta
so
be
it's
that
okay
way.
to destroy the car, you know.
That's what the sponsors are here for. They help us out in the off season.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it, dude. Well, I want to say I really appreciate you stopping by. This means
Thank
a lot
you.
to me, and really good luck.
I appreciate it, man.
I hope you do
so
good.
if people wants to help us, we have my own maple syrup that my mom make at the back in Canada. We have a sugar shack.
Dude, that's
So
cool.
we bring maple syrup to the track so people can taste it, buy it,
Yeah,
and
man.
obviously have my merch here always. So that's the biggest way to support me.
Yeah, and he gave me one of these too. They're actually extremely good.
Yeah.
I just want to mention that.
Shout out XPN.
They're way
Thank you.
healthier than the shit we got here, anyways. But hell yeah, dude. Well, I won't hold you no more. Go have some fun and enjoy the weekend, man.
Thank you, bro.
Stacking way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want fuck, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber. Got a little money if you want, I can teach you. Whole life a movie, you can watch it in theater. Stacking way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings.